I do want to get to some breaking news that we have going on here, because we've been following this deadly shooting that happened in downtown Houston, joined here by Samika Knight, and it was outside of an entertainment business at Green Street, if you're familiar with that complex. But the main thing is that we were hearing this morning that the victim in this was Takeoff, who is part of the group Migos. And the Associated Press just confirmed that it's him, and that's according to his representative.
Yeah, and boy, this has just been quite a morning. I mean, it started out with us hearing about a deadly shooting there at the bowling alley, I think billiards.
810 Billiards and Bowling.
Yeah, so the bowling alley there in downtown Houston. And then we sort of learned, it started trickling down in the newsroom, you know, word that it was Takeoff. And as we do here, we wait for confirmation. And as you mentioned, the very latest is just a few minutes ago, right, that the representative of Takeoff has confirmed. Boy, this is big news.
Yeah.
And for those who really don't, you know, listen to their music, or maybe they don't quite understand, you know, how big of a star, you know, Takeoff really is. Migos, Grammy nominated.
Yes.
For at least two albums, I believe, or 2 songs or so, but Grammy nominated twice. They are also, to kind of break it down a little further, if we will, this is the scene here from this morning, that overnight. So according to police, real quick, according to police, there was a private party being held last night. We know last night was Halloween. A private party being held there, 810 Billiards and Bowling. And the party ended around 2 or just after 2. And there were about 40 to 50 people who then came outside, and for some unknown reason, gunshots rang out, and now we can confirm that Takeoff was shot and killed. 2 other people were injured in the shooting. Apparently, they were transported to the hospital via private vehicle. We're trying right now to figure out exactly what happened as a result of this shooting. I see you now pulling up information on Takeoff.
Yeah, trying to pull off what I can, because I'm glad you brought that up too, for people who may not be familiar, who might be like, who is this person? A lot of times, even if you don't know specifically who was in the group, you've likely heard of Migos. They've been featured on different songs as well. They're part of the group with Quavo and Offset is the one who's with Cardi B. So
I was going to say, and you know, just to kind of help, I was talking to somebody earlier today who had, you know, no idea, and that's okay, no idea about the group. I said, well, do you know Cardi B? So Cardi B is married to Offset, who is also a member of the group. And as I understand it, all 3 in the group, Migos, are somehow related.
So I wanted to double check that too, because I don't even know that that's something I realized immediately. But Quavo's the uncle, and Offset and Takeoff are cousins, I believe. So I think that's how that relationship is. But if you've heard of, you know, Bad and Bougie, I mean,
that's
certainly not going to start singing it, but you've probably heard people say the phrase, because a lot of times in pop culture, obviously, we start to say things and they enter our language, and a lot of times it's because of songs. So surely you've probably heard of that. But it is really, really big, because I know
it's really big, and
go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I mean, for a lot of people, we have a lot of, as I say, you know, as I age myself, we have a lot of young people in the newsroom. And I heard from at least 2 of them who said this morning, you know, I'm kind of grieving this loss, right? Because if you follow their music and you follow them for quite some time, I mean, they have millions of followers on Instagram, including Takeoff.
Yeah, Takeoff has 7.9 million. And I was trying to look at his social media, because that's one of the things we do when we're trying to find as much information as we can. I was checking to see, well, did he post anything? Because some other outlets were saying he posted a selfie, so I was trying to see if I could find that.
He actually posted on his stories.
Is it within his stories? Okay, so let me see if I can pull that up for us here real quick.
And that is what, and just to be, you know, completely honest here, and just how the newsroom works, overnight our phones were ringing off the hook. Also, we were getting a lot of messages here into the newsroom, our news desk as well, and many of them were sharing the picture that he had taken and posted to his stories, and kind of comparing that to what was there at the scene. But of course, we can't show anything like that.
Right.
And at the time, we couldn't, confirm that it was in fact him. But again, there's so many people who are fans who are telling me this morning that they are grieving. Social media, of course, going just bonkers.
Trending immediately. And again, and that's one of the reasons too, we recognize that people are talking about it, but we can't just go off and say anything, because it's also hard to take something like that back.
Right.
Should it have not been him? But
I wish it were not
the
case.
Right. Knowing that has happened. And I think too, as I was talking to one of our other producers, she was like, man, like young Dolph just died. And like, even if you're not familiar with these people, the point is there are fans who really love these people. They had families too, we see them as who they are in the spotlight, but they continue to get killed, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a hard conversation to have, right? What I did not know, Brittany, and I'm learning more from some of the people and some of our, producers in the newsroom who kind of, if you will, schooled me on a few things. I didn't realize that Migos, Quavo, and Takeoff visited Houston pretty often. I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, apparently they were here often. And I said to our morning producer, I said to Robin actually was kind of filling me in. And she said, they're here often. She said, sometimes people are hosting parties. Yeah. And saying that, at this point, trying to figure out, were they there for a party that, excuse me, this is my alarm to do the cut in, but was there a party being hosted there this morning or overnight, or what was happening? But she said that Houston, I didn't realize that Houston was such a mega scene for major performers to kind of just not perform, but come and visit.
But hang out and visit. Absolutely. Yeah. I have here, by the way, our story on our website, because we just updated that again. When we get this information in, we get it to you as soon as we can, but of course waiting until we have confirmation. And yes, Sam, you're absolutely right, because I mean, the first person that really comes to my mind is Drake. Right. It's like, what does Drake have to do with Houston? What does he love about the city?
Here often.
Here often.
Very
for different
often.
events, has his own weekend. Whenever we're looking at Rockets games or different professional sports, always a lot of celebrities. Yeah. So Houston, attracts a lot of people from all different backgrounds.
Boy, this one will be pretty hard for, Houston to be remembered for, because this is such a major star here. Yeah. It is hard to talk about and really understand why it happened. Now, that's the other thing, Brittany. At this point, we don't know what happened. Right. We don't know how this happened, what happened. I mean, there are a lot of things on social media people say. And we should mention that police are saying that there were 40 to 50 people, in that group for this private party, and they still want to talk to anyone who may have witnessed anything. Yeah. Them saying that, they're seeing a lot of things posted on social media, but they would like to talk to people too. So if you were there, if you heard anything, if you know anything, certainly reach out to Houston Police. And Houston Police are being very plain spoken on this. You can remain anonymous. If you have some information that you think can certainly help police and help them understand exactly what happened, you can certainly call HPD Crime Stoppers, 713-222-TIPS, and you can remain anonymous.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad that you said that too, because there is a lot of information here. I think sometimes too it's difficult when we hear there's a shooting or more violence, because you certainly don't want it to become white noise. And I know it seems like, okay, every day we're reporting about something like this, and that's not to say that any other shootings that we report on are less important because it's not a celebrity, but certainly, like you said, this isn't the main thing that we want people to hear about our city, especially in the midst of a World Series. And again, not to make it about baseball, but just to say this is really, really big news and really huge, and something that you'll continue to hear. Yeah. And for me, even kind of takes a backseat at the moment to the World Series, because that game's not until tonight. And you see people reacting the way that they are on social media to this.
Social media, I posted. And I posted, the story, what we had, right? Yeah, so I posted what we had confirmed, and and there were people who had seen it elsewhere and had come to conclusions, and then there were other people who were saying, Samika, I don't understand. Why don't you just say his name? Trying to go and help them understand that, we don't do that until it's confirmed. But also kind of, mentioning something that you talked about. In any case, I mean, we're dealing with a megastar here, right? But in any and every case where there is something sensitive like this, a shooting, we don't confirm a name. We may get the name here in our newsroom.
Right.
And that's the beauty, really, of being able to talk during our 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
We can kind of give you behind the scenes. We may get the name. People may call in or send us a message, but we will not say the name unless it is confirmed by police or authorities in some way. So this is now confirmed, and sadly, it's confirmed.
Right, right. And just to, I'm sure we'll be following this throughout the day as we really look into who Takeoff is, because that is just his name as a rapper. I mean, he has another given name, but something else that stands out to me in this is he was just 28 years old. So we're not talking about people, I mean, loss of life at any age is devastating, but you're not talking about someone either who, you know, was 105 or, you know, had lived a really long life. I mean, again, continuously we're seeing young people and people who others looked up to, probably wanted to be like or listen to, have heard their song at one point or another, who have died. And again, just 28. Yeah,
we've heard a few things too on social media. People asking, well, Samika, do you know if it was a robbery? Because Takeoff, he liked jewelry, right? But we don't know that. We, at this point, we're still asking a lot of questions. And you better believe we have several crews looking into this. I'm looking at our work emails, and people, you know, are at home looking into it. We have a crew there on the scene, Rosie Wynn, as well as Jesus Amaya, I believe, they're on the scene looking into it. So anytime we get the information confirmed, we'll certainly get it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I bring up too, just in talking about, again, rappers who are recently killed, bringing up, was it a robbery? It reminded me of PNB Rock in Los Angeles. He had just posted. Now, we don't know the motive or anything like that just yet. Of course, whatever we get and whatever comes out, we'll share. But just, again, it's a loss of life, whether you listen to this person, know who they are or not. And it's not one that we're proud to talk about. But whatever information we get, we will certainly bring to you. Thank you, Samika, so much for joining me. And I'll leave you with this. Again, we do have the story here on ABC13.com. Look here for updates. We have team coverage from Rosie Wynn, Charlie Edsity. They're both working to talk to as many people as they can to learn more details. Thank you again so much for joining us. Stay with us. More news is next, and have a wonderful Tuesday.